handling difficult customers. Because sometimes, there are some instances that we are really getting pissed off of some customers when they are really irate or shouting sometimes. So this is a presentation if you ever faced a situation where customers who seem impossible to please, do you find it challenging to communicate effectively with different types of customers? Would you want actionable tips to handle difficult customer interactions like a pro? So, if your answer is yes to all those questions, this is a perfect solution for you. So, first of all, we have to identify how to identify difficult customers. So it says here that identifying difficult customers involves recognizing certain behaviors and signs that indicate a customer may be more challenging to work with. And here are some key traits to look for. So the first one, I don't know who has encountered the first one, frequent complaints. Maybe with our Atomy business partners also, frequent complaints. So difficult customers often voice complaints even if they're minor of or have been addressed before. They may be dissatisfied with products, services, or even the way they were treated. And number two, there are also some unrealistic expectations. So these are the customers with high or unrealistic expectations might demand things that are not possible or that go beyond what is reasonable, such as instant resolutions or significant discounts. So I don't know, but yes, maybe you would agree with me. There are some clients or customers that we encounter within our Atomy business, for example, who are wanting to have an absolute set. So if we say the online price of absolute set, which is 195 euro, they will still ask us, can you give us discount? Can you give us 20 euro discount? Right? And when they buy this Atomy absolute set, they will say, okay, in 1 week, will my blackhead disappear or will my dark spot disappear? Right? So there are some people with unrealistic expectations. And next one, we also have the aggressive or confrontational behavior. So these type of customers may raise their voices, use harsh language, or challenge every point made by the representative. They're often quick to escalate matters and may be unwilling to listen to solutions. So there are some people, for example, my personal experience, when I am giving a presentation, before I even open my mouth to say about the skincare product, they will already say like, oh, okay, that's not gonna work because the ingredient is not there, so on and so forth. So I believe most of us also encountered this kind of customer, right? And then number four, we have customers who have constant demands for special treatment. So this is a type of customer who regularly asks for exceptions, special privileges or accommodations can be difficult to manage. This could be anything from last-minute changes to unrealistic demands on or turnaround time. So, correct me if I'm wrong. So, for example, within the Atomy team, right, there will be some masterships. We plan some masterships, and later on, one day before the mastership, our partner will change mind. So when the partner change mind on the last day before the mastership, the whole plan will be ruined, right? So I believe you also have this situation in your specific teams. And then next one, frequent escalations. So if a customer often escalates issues to higher levels or of management without trying to resolve matters at the initial point of contact, they may be difficult to handle. They might feel that going over someone's head is the only way to get things done. So I know. And next attitude of a customer, of a difficult customer, I know you will also agree with me. It's not only customers, but also partners. The number six is a negative attitude. So, customers who are generally negative or critical, regardless of the situation, may be hard to please. They might not accept apologies or solutions and are often skeptical of any proposed resolution. So, for myself, I have encountered such a customer whom, yes, even the box was crumpled from the delivery and she doesn't like to accept it. But instead of arguing, how I did it is I just say, okay, if you don't like this box, I can replace it with a better box for you. So then after all, she's happy. And next one is lack of clear communication. So some difficult customers might provide unclear or incomplete information, which makes it hard for service teams to address their concerns. This can lead to frustration on both sides. Right? So there are also customers like this. And next one is repeatedly changing the issue. So a customer might repeatedly change their demands or expectations. This behavior can make it difficult to arrive at a resolution because their focus keeps shifting. So in Atomy, we encounter some clients who says, okay, I like to purchase the evening care for set. But when she comes home and thought about it, oh, I would like to change my order to just a foam cleanser. I know all of us have encountered this one. Or sometimes, if we don't have a product on our hand to give to our customer, the next hour when she gets home, she will say, oh, I would like to cancel my order because I have to pay this and that and this, right? You've encountered that. The next one is excessive negativity and feedback. So if a customer leaves feedback that is mostly negative and focused on small issues, even if those issues are addressed, they may be difficult to please. Yes, in this world, there are two types of people, positive and negative people. So yes, sadly, there are some negative people who are really always wanting attention and doesn't like to hear what the resolution may be. And lastly, there are also some manipulative behavior customers. So these are the customers who try to manipulate the situation to their benefit, such as threatening to leave negative reviews or constantly threatening to escalate. Can be difficult to manage. Well, for myself, with my customers, I didn't have any manipulative behavior, but with distributors, with partners, there are lots. Okay, so next one is how to handle difficult customers. Now we already know how to identify difficult customers. Now it is time to know how to handle them. So here are some tips on how you can professionally handle a difficult customer. So the first one is active listening, of course. So make sure to listen to their concerns carefully with showing empathy and understanding. So when they tell you a problem, of course, for example, hurt or they didn't like the product, we really have to listen carefully to what they are trying to say for us to be able to respond professionally and find a resolution that will answer their problem. And then number two, stay calm and professional. So don't take things personally. We always have to make sure, of course, we are human. If someone says something bad about the product or us, we thought that they are saying it directly to us. But you don't have to think it that way because we are representing the Atomy business, right? So it doesn't directly go to us. So as I've said, don't take things personally. We have to set boundaries. So politely but firmly set boundaries on what can and can't be done. We have to offer solutions. So be proactive in offering solutions or alternative and try to exceed their expectation. Okay, there you go. And then next one is know when to escalate. So things become unmanageable to escalate the matter to someone who can resolve it, but always aim to manage the situation first. So say, for example, if someone is trying to ask about the product or is complaining about the product, first is we have to try to solve it ourselves. We have to find a solution or we have to search on the topic that she wants answer. If we can't answer her question or her complaint, then we can ask our sponsors, or we can actually say, okay, this is the email address of Atomy and the WhatsApp number of Atomy. You can directly call or email Atomy in order for your problem to be solved. Okay. And next one, here I also listed down some example of how we can respond. So first one is the active listening. Okay, so if a person says, okay, I have a problem with your product or service and so on, then some example response is, I'm sorry to hear that you're having an issue with this. Let's work together to get it sorted. Don't fight back with a customer. If the customer say, you know what, the ampule didn't work for me. I already used it for 1 week and I still see my dark spot. So if you say to the customer like, you know what? It's my product is not magic. If you want, just try something else. No, we have to listen carefully and to respond with empathy to our customer. So tell them that it takes if you know some information like it takes 2 months before a new product will fully absorb your skin, and after 2 months you will be able to see some changes, right? So this is really much better, I believe, to listen to. So why is active listening better when we encounter a difficult customer? It is because the customer may be upset or even angry, but it's important to remain calm, composed, and professional throughout the interaction. So we are already on number 2. And then, oh, sorry. Sorry, let me just go back there. Okay. And how? Take a deep breath and keep your tone polite and steady. If you feel yourself getting upset, pause for a moment before responding. So often when we feel upset, we tend to respond through our emotions. But sometimes when we already utter some words because of our emotion on that certain period, later on we regret what we have said, right? But we already said it. So how will we manage to be, responding politely is first to take a deep breath. Okay? If you can't handle the situation in that very moment, then just ask kindly if you can go to the washroom, take a deep breath there, and come back with a positive attitude. And the next one, stay calm and acknowledge the customer's concern. Why do we need to acknowledge the customer's concern? Because customers needs to feel heard and understood. Acknowledging their issue shows that you're taking it seriously. So it's like with our, for example, daughter or son. If they are hurt or they have a problem from school, we have to acknowledge their concern because they will feel more at ease, right? So how do we acknowledge the customer's concern? We have to show empathy and validate their feelings without agreeing with negative behavior. So an example response will be, I understand how frustrating this might be for you, and I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. It's really nice to hear, right? Instead of saying, oh, you know what? I can't do anything for you. If you want, just you contact some people. I will give you a list of people that you can contact, right? So it's not nice. And next one. Next one is ask clarifying questions. Why do we need to ask clarifying questions? Is because this step ensures you fully understand the issue and gives you a chance to gather the necessary details. How do you do that? You have to avoid making assumptions, ask clear, open-ended questions to dig deeper into the problem. So example question that you can ask your customers are as follows. Could you tell me more about what happened? When did this issue first occur? So it often happen to people who are using a skincare, because sometimes if their problem is dark spot, sometimes their dark spot gets worsened because the product is trying to adjust into our skin. So it's really very important to ask clear questions so we can know what resolution we can give to our customers. And last question is, what would be the ideal resolution for you? Okay. Next one is take responsibility. Why do we need to take responsibility? Because if the problem stems from mistake on your part or the company's acknowledging it, it can help diffuse some of the frustration. And how do we do that? Don't place blame, but own up to mistakes, even if it's just in terms of acknowledging the inconvenience costs, right? Sometimes when there is a fault, for example, we often say, it's not my problem, right? To make it easier for us, we say it like this. But it's an example response that I have for you on the presentation is, I'm really sorry that this happened. It's certainly not the experience we want to provide our customers. So it's much better and more professional. And when people hears that you say this response, then they will feel comfortable. Instead of getting very angry, their anger will turn into positivity because they will feel that we are trying to give resolution to their issue. And next one, offer solutions or alternatives. Why do we need to offer solutions? Customers are often upset because they feel like their issue is not being addressed. Offering solutions shows you're working to make it right. So, how do we do that? Provide a clear and actionable solution that directly addresses the problem. If an immediate resolution is not possible, set expectations on the next steps. So, for example, if our customer received a product, a shampoo that spilled in the box, we can just say, okay, we can return it to Atomy, and Atomy will help us with the replacement. So as I've shown here, I can help you with the replacement right away, or we can offer a full refund. Which option works best for you? We are very lucky in Atomy because if our customers are not happy or satisfied with a product, they actually have I believe, 30 days return and exchange policy. And next one is set realistic expectations. Why do we need to set realistic expectation? Because miscommunication about timelines or outcomes can lead to further dissatisfaction. Setting realistic expectations prevents additional frustration. How do we do that? Clearly explain what can and can't be done and provide a realistic timeline. So, for example, if we can get this process today, you should receive the refund in about 3 to 5 business days. Does that sound good, Loredana? That does sound good? Yes, definitely, right? And the next one, follow through and provide updates. Why do we need to follow through? In Atomy, we always have to do follow up, right? Why? Because customers will appreciate being kept in the loop. Even if there is no new information, regular updates can reassure the customer that their concern is being taken seriously. So how do we do that? Once you've agreed on a solution, keep the customer updated on progress. If any delays occur, inform them promptly. So example response will be, I'll email you as soon as your return is processed and you can expect your refund by Friday. So when they actually hear this, they will feel more at ease and more comfortable with you, and maybe, who knows, it can be a better opportunity for you and the customer in the future, right? And next one is know how to escalate. So why do we need to know how to escalate? Because if the issue is beyond your control or if the customer becomes abusive, it's best to escalate the situation to a supervisor or manager. So in our case, we can escalate it to our sponsor or to Atomy directly. How do we do that? Let the customer know you're escalating the matter and ensure they understand it's being handled by someone who can better resolve the issue. So example response will be, I understand that this has been frustrating and I want to make sure it's handled appropriately. I'll escalate this to my manager to make sure we can find the best solution for you. And next one is end on a positive note. Why is it important for us to end on a positive note to a difficult customer? Because you want to leave the customer feeling satisfied or at least content with the resolution, even if it was a challenging situation. And how do we do that? Offer your gratitude for their patience, reassure them that the matter is being resolved, and let them know that they are valued. So us ourselves, we are also customers. So it's a good feeling when we know that we are being valued, right? So it also goes the same way to our Atomy customers. So example response will be, I understand that this has been frustrating and I want to make sure it's handled appropriately. Okay, so it's the same from the previous one. And then next one is learn from the situation. Why do we need to learn from the situation? Because every difficult customer encounter is an opportunity to improve processes, products, or communication to prevent similar issues in the future, right? So, for example, if you've already handled this difficult customer right now, we will already know how to handle future customers with the same situation as this difficult customer today. And how do we do that? After the situation is resolved, review what went wrong and identify steps that can be taken to avoid similar issues in the future. So, yes, it's very difficult for us, of course, to have difficult customers, but if we know how to handle them professionally, it will result to a positive note, and who knows, it might also be a future business partnership with the customer and us as an Atomy business owner. So I hope that you learned a lot from this presentation.